Hello everybody, and welcome back to the Kingdom Hearts 2 playthrough! So, we escaped Hades, sort of. Well, we got out of that slightly evil minigamey type section, and now it is time for us to try and get out of the underworld proper, and get back to the realm of the light. Because it's kind of important, and I want my drive gauge back, thank you very much. Also, I want to get started talking on some other slightly more interesting things. But seeing as we are blathering about in the menus for now, which I could have cut, but I'm lazy. At the minute, in terms of the day I'm recording and pretty much when this comes out, I'm studying Greek tragedy in my degree, because it's an important element of my course, because it has to be for some bizarre reason. So basically I have read every single surviving tragedy by the three most famous tragedians, largely because they are the only ones that are left. So, I've had a lot of experience of ancient Greece in the past couple of months. It's insane.
This is my underworld, you idiot! I'll handle this myself! Cerberus, go!
So as you probably guessed, we're going to be fighting Cerberus shortly. But yes, as I was saying, I've been dealing with a lot of ancient Greece, and read the Iliad, and started on the Odyssey but never quite finished it because time got cut short. So, yeah, I have to say, the version of Greek mythology that Hercules portrays is definitely very unlike actual Greek mythology. I mean, it's typical of Disney, kind of like Disney like to do their own version of stories rather than actually being faithful. I think The Jungle Book is a perfect example of that. Also Pinocchio, and The Little Mermaid, and Hunchback of Notre Dame. Hunchback of Notre Dame in particular, as well. So Disney like to do their own twists on things, and Hercules is no different. Because obviously, in the original Greek mythology, Heracles is not Zeus and Hera's son. He's Zeus' son by a human woman who I think is, yes, it's Alcmene. And I don't quite know the story of how Zeus got Alcmene pregnant, but he has a variety of methods of doing that. I mean, there's someone he impregnates by turning into like just golden light. There's one that he does as in the form of a swan. And having looks. Basically, Zeus makes love to her in the disguise of her husband, Amphitryon. It's a very similar story to, well, I'm assuming it's the source for Geoffrey of Monmouth in his History of the Kings of Britain, when he creates the story of Uther and the conception of Arthur. So, yeah, and because Heracles was not Hera's, she got incredibly jealous because that's what she does. And she tries to kill him. Tries to have him killed. And yeah, Heracles then suffers quite a lot. Because, I mean, as I believe I said before, he kills his kids and his wife, which is Megara, because he does actually end up with Megara. and that's not pleasant. And then he has to do the 12 labours of Hercules. Well, 12 labours of Heracles, because it's Heracles, not Hercules. That's the kind of Roman Latinization of it. And it's basically where you get like the lion and the gorgon and the hydra, which we haven't come across yet, but we probably will do, and there's also Cerberus. Because capturing Cerberus was the final challenge, that's the final labour, assigned to Heracles by King Eurystheus, which is basically, the labours are his recompense for killing his children, after Hera drove him insane, because she hates him because he's not her son. And he succeeds with capturing Cerberus. But then I'm pretty sure pretty soon afterwards is when he gets accidentally killed by his, like, second wife. Or at least that's how it is in the Greek tragedy. That I think is Euripides. Yeah, that sounds about right to me. Because basically what the Greek tragedians did was they played around with the myths and kind of shortened the time frames for things from what they were in the original epic myth. And yeah, some of it's quite depressing, really.
Come on, open.
Come on, Sora, seriously.
Will that open it?
Yeah, I think so.
Hurry!
And now we enter into a wonderful boss fight with Cerberus! And it's just us and Auron because we're cool like that. Now I will say this is definitely the hardest boss that you will have faced up until this point, because Cerberus is pretty on it, really. He's a lot more violent than he was in the first game, although, having said that, it's slightly easier because you are a little bit more agile than you were in the original game, but lack of a dodge roll does make things slightly awkward. Also, there are some cool-ass quick-time events during this, it's just awesome. Also, try not to get hit by the massive falling rocks, they're quite painful, and are not going to do you much good. Now, this is actually, I think, probably just about one of the first fights where it is possible to have Mickey save you, I think. Because that is a thing, basically, if in certain boss fights, if you die, then Mickey will come to rescue you. And essentially, you can either try and resurrect Sora with Mickey, or you can try and get some nice easy hits on your boss opponent, and then when Mickey's time has run out, Sora will be revived. And I think that can happen 3 times before you die completely. But it is only in certain fights, just to give you a slightly easier time if you are really, really struggling. Although, funny story, I actually only ever got Mickey once in this run-through, and that was on a boss that absolutely everybody despises. But I seem to recall when I first played the game I actually did get Mickey on this fight with Cerberus, so that was fun.
Come on, Wonder Boy, play hooky for a day. For old time's sake.
They came to see me. They came to see a hero. I can't let them down. Don't worry, Meg. I'll be fine. What does a hero need rest for, huh? See ya.
Sora, don't let me down.
So, right there, we heard Hercules actually speak. And it's not the same Hercules that was in the original game, which was Samwise Gamgee. This is actually the real Hercules. And by real Hercules, I mean his original voice actor from the film, Tate Donovan. Who is awesome. He's probably most well known for his role in the FX drama Damages as Tom Shays, his role as Jimmy Cooper in The OC, as Hercules. And then he's also been in a number of other things, like Good Night and Good Luck, Argo, it was Brian Sanders in Hostages, then he was in 24 Live Another Day. And, yeah, he's been on stage and he's done all sorts, really. But his most recent film was Argo in 2012 as Bob Anders. And his most recent kind of work of all is in the 24 Live Another Day thing as Mark Boudreau.
Let me see if I've got this right. That brat's Keyblade works on any lock.
That's right.
Have I ever told you about the killer coliseum we have right here in the underworld? It makes the one upstairs look like an Olympic kiddie pool.
Then that's the place we're gonna put an end to Hurt the Jerk's winning streak.
Problem, Zeus locked it tight.
Oh. Oh?
Bingo. All we gotta do is swipe that key and then reopen the Underdrome.
Hate to tell you, but that key is kinda particular. It won't work for just anybody, and that kid ain't no pushover.
I think this calls for a woman's touch.
This does indeed bring back memories, and if you look at the boards, those are actually the same boards that we completed when we were actually here the last time. It's quite cool. It is nice to see the actual Olympus Coliseum after all that stuff in the underworld.
Donald!
Even though I was complaining about that being the only thing we've seen in so many games.
Howdy there! You on another adventure?
Yeah, tracking down some friends, wiping out some Heartless.
Junior hero's always busy.
You know it.
And also, the trophies that we got are here, which is also really, really cool. And now we're getting told about a stone, the Olympus stone that guards against curses in the underworld, which we really do need. Because I want my drive gauge, damn it, I want to level up Valor Form and beat stuff up. And now it's time to do some training. And there's only one person who can train us, really, isn't there?
Hey, champ. How you feeling? Better rest up for tomorrow's match. Nobody's gonna pay to see a worn-out hero. Gabish? Remember what I told you. Victory in the games comes down to 2 simple words. Eat, bathe, sleep. Huh? Hey, if it ain't the junior heroes.
Looking good, Phil.
Never better. How you guys been? Have you earned your true hero wings yet? Nope, you ain't got what it takes.
What?
So, what's up?
So yes, as you may have noticed, Phil is constantly afflicted by default face, which is slightly terrifying, because it's just kind of just like that blank, glazed look, just constantly looking. It's really terrifying. So as we begin our training, which is basically hit urns into other urns and collect orbs. That is basically it. Phil is voiced by Robert Costanzo, who voiced him in the original Kingdom Hearts. He's also done Detective Harvey Bullock in Batman the Animated Series, Superman the Animated Series, Static Shock and Batman Arkham Origins. He's also Joe Barbaro and Derek Pappalardo in Mafia 2, Harry in Total Recall, Sergeant Vito Lorenzo in Die Hard 2, the Easter Bunny and Big Daddy in The Fairly Odd Parents, and a few other things. But basically he's quite famous for being a kind of voice double for Danny DeVito, who obviously voiced Phil in the original film, which is still quite awesome. And even though it's not the most popular song in the entire film, but I do quite like One Last Hope. It's quite fun. Because it's a bit of a sort of comedy number in amidst the sort of slightly more gospel style of what the Muses do, and so on and so forth. And now I've just got it going in my head. It's just, so you wanna be a hero kid, so whoop-de-doo. I've been around the block before with blockheads just like you. Everyone a disappointment, pain. Because there ain't no ointment. Show the kid as Zeus is asking me to jump into the frame. My answer is 2 words. Okay. Yeah. I just go. Songs just kind of get into my head, and then it's just like, I just want to sing. I'm slightly crazy, you may have noticed. So yeah, this minigame's really not that hard. It's certainly harder if you want to get the Jimmy's Journal achievement thingy for it, because I can't quite remember what that requires, but basically you need to do this again after completing it and do really well. But yeah, bigger pots equal more orbs, but you can just kind of just keep wailing away and you'll be fine, really. You really shouldn't struggle that much with this. You see? It's really quite simple. And for some reason, Hercules couldn't just come and talk to us. Thank you, dude. Thank you very much. Now, as you may have noticed, Olympus Coliseum is quite long.
What's wrong, your hero?
It's insane.
Feeling under the weather?
It just keeps going and going and going.
Perfect shape was part of the hero job description. You know what I'm saying.
And Hades, you're still a dick.
Hades, we gotta talk.
I came to share a bit of mildly interesting news. Seems your dear, sweet little nutmeg went and got herself lost in the underworld.
You mean you kidnapped her?
Well, maybe. But why get caught up in the details? You can't leave now. Okay, you've got a very important match today against, the bloodthirsty Hydra! I mean, if you don't stick around, who knows what kind of accidents might happen.
Yeah, accidents you cause.
Like I said, details. Who needs them?
You're just a coward.
Ah, well, can't all be heroes.
Can you handle this?
You got it! We're heroes!
Junior heroes, Donald.
You take care of the Hydra. We'll handle the rest.
I'm counting on you. You gotta find Meg.
So, yeah. We've got to go save Meg. Because she's been kidnapped by Hades. As usual. I have to say, it does slightly annoy me that Olympus Coliseum does end up being so long in comparison to what we've come up against before, but then I guess we are getting quite a lot of gameplay, so it should be nice and accepted. I think it's just because I like to keep things moving at a quick pace, but a nice pace, if that makes any sense. It's like, you can go too quickly through something, but you can also go too long, and it's you've got to get the balance right, and I think Beast's Castle probably got the balance about right. Mulan was maybe a little bit too quick with its turnaround, and Olympus Coliseum is maybe a little bit too long on its turnaround, especially because you have, so many bosses. So we had the fight with Hades, we had the fight with Cerberus, we've got even more to come. I'm being completely serious here. There are more boss fights in this. Well, that is probably the most amount of boss fights in a single segment in this world than the final. Well, than everything other than the final world. And I'm pretty sure I am right on that. I'm sure if I'm wrong, somebody will correct me. But I'm pretty sure. Because you've got essentially 4 or 5 what I would call boss fights. And that just doesn't happen. Generally the most you get is 2. But now this one has just a ridiculous amount. I guess it's because they wanted to do something fun and interesting-ish with Olympus Coliseum, considering how much it's been used. So they wanted to make use of it. And boy, do they make use of it.
Thanks. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed it.